Hi guys, this is Kelly, and I just wanted to do a quick little walkthrough of the Get to Work book by Elise Joy. I've been searching for a new planner for 2016 for a while now, and I watched a ton of YouTube video tutorials, went through a bunch of blog posts, all that sort of thing, and just was having a really hard time coming up with something that I thought would work well for me. So after a lot of searching, I did find this, and I realized that there's not a lot of walkthroughs or unboxings on it yet. So I thought that I would make one for you guys. So Elise released the first of these this past July, I believe, which would be July of 2015, and so this is the 2016 edition. Normally, this book does come with a spiral binding, but I just personally don't like spiral bound books. I find them very difficult to write in when they're laid flat and you're trying to write, especially I'm a right handed person on the left hand page. Your hand kind of bumps up against the spiral. I think it's uncomfortable. So I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to make this a disc bound style planner, or if I may just sort of make Midori style booklets out of sections of it, maybe a month at a time or something like that. But we'll see what I decide to do. But for now, I just thought I'd show you guys the book. It does come with a couple of goodies. When you open up the package, there is this card that says "Big things happen one day at a time." And then on the back side, it's just a little business card with her checkmark logo and some information. And then there is this lovely postcard. And it has a bunch of different designs on them. And you'll see once we get into the book, these are actually different art prints that are included in the planner. And you can take them out and keep them as separate art or whatever you want to do with them once you have used the planner pages. And on the other side of this is a lovely little thank you note that just says, she thanks you for supporting the book. And I really believe that big things happen one day at a time, and this planner is designed to help you schedule those days. My goal is that Get to Work book feels motivational and useful without competing with your amazing ideas. And I think that's really true. One of the things I like about this is how simple it is. A lot of planners for me are just a little too fussy, a little too frilly. I found that a lot of the books I looked at felt like they were more geared towards a housewife or a stay at home mom with kids' schedules to juggle, and that just isn't the way that I work. I'm a full time student, I have a full time job as a marketing manager for a company. I do freelance web and graphic design, and I also run a blog. So I have a lot of different things going on, and I just couldn't find something that would let me personalize it the way I wanted. Like some of the older school like daytimers and things like that are just a little too boring. But then the newer things are just a little too pink and frilly and girly, and that's not really me. So this I think will be a very nice option. So as you can see, it's not the thinnest book. It's probably about an inch, maybe a little bit more wide. And like I said, it normally does come with a spiral binding here, so it would be just a little bit wider once it's bound. So the pages themselves are 7 inches by 9 inches. And then the tabs add probably, I'd say, maybe a half inch, a quarter inch or so without pulling out a ruler. So let's dive in. The front and back pages are a heavyweight craft paper cardstock. So you can see mine actually came and it had this little teeny mark on it right here, but that's not a big deal for me. I'm not such a perfectionist. I'm going to drag this thing all over the place and write all over it and be ridiculous. So I'm not so precious about it. I may also end up making either a binder or some sort of cover for this too. So in the end, you're probably never going to see this page for me. So this is not a big thing. But do just bear in mind that they are paper. So if they get wet, if they get something on them, it is going to leave a mark. Inside is just plain, nothing there. Um, so your front page here says "Get to Work Book" with the little check arrow, which, if you guys can see, has a little bit of design to it, so that's nice. These pages have a really nice kind of smooth, shiny feel to them, but they are not especially thick. I don't know if you guys can see. I can actually see the writing on the other side here. if I hold this up a little closer, yeah, so this is actually on the back side of this page, and I can already see it. So they're not the thickest pages, if that's a big thing for you. It's not necessarily for me. Um, and so inside the front cover here, there's a little name and contact. So a little, if you lose your book, some contact information. And this is just a little blurb about the planner. And then on this front page, it says, nobody cares about almost. And I think that's incredibly accurate. So the first thing you have for each month is this reflect and goal set page. So you'll see it has 3 boxes on the top and 3 boxes on the bottom. And they say last month's wins, still in progress, to let go of, to think on, to work on, and to complete. And I just think that's a really nice little practice before you go into the next month to kind of sit and go, okay, what went really well this past month? What am I still working on? And what do I need to let go of? And that's the thing that I think a lot of us forget. Just stuff that, we feel like the list of things to do never ends. And so sometimes you just need to, all right, this thing's not going to happen. I just need to drop this. Um, and then I think I find these bottoms to be kind of an extension of these same thoughts. So like going into the next month, what things do I really need to think about? What things do I need to work on, like actionable steps? And then what stuff just needs to get done, like what stuff needs to get completed. Um, and I think that's a really nice thing. And there's one of these going into every month for the year. So that's just a really nice feature. And so on this other side, you're going to see this is a thicker weight cardstock than the regular pages. And if you guys can see, this is actually, if it'll focus there, maybe, yeah, this is perforated all the way down. So normally in the spiral bound version of this, you'd be able to just tear this right out. And these are art prints that she's made. And they're flat digitally printed but it is a nicer stock of paper. And so I think the idea is that if you wanted to, you could actually take all these out and save them and kind of keep them as little mementos if you wanted to cut them off here. It's not perforated, but I might personally take this bottom part off and kind of make them more square. So at the bottom of the page, you've got a little mini calendar that kind of just gives you at a glance how the month lays out. And then this month is all about and a place for you to kind of set, I don't know, like a focus or an intention for your coming month. So that's just a pretty little lead in. And so the back of this page is blank, obviously, so that if you want to keep this print, you're not losing anything out of your planner. And then your tab pages start for the months. So each tab page, it's really nice. It's set so that when you grab that tab, you're going to open to that month rather than opening to like a preview spread like some of these do. I've noticed that in a lot of planners and just kind of, it's not a very functional thing. So on the front page of your tab is just sort of a planning page. So you've got a space for a date, a project name, and then just some nice grid lined, there we go, paper for you to use for brainstorming or sketching or anything. The tabs, if you can see, are laminated, and that is just to like here, just this little tab part. And then this is just have a black line down the side, but the rest of this page is not actually laminated. But it's nice that the tabs are so that when you go to turn, you're not going to destroy your pages and wear them out. So from there, we'll turn and you get your first monthly spread for January 2016 in this particular case. And it looks like Elise is planning to do 2 editions a year, so sort of a standard calendar year version and then an academic year version that'll be in July, I believe. You can check their website to verify that, but I know that's what happened last year. I love how clean this spread is. Like, really, just how beautiful is this? It's just so simple and clear. You've got your month laid out for all of those sort of like big overview dates that you need. You've got a nice little notes lined section that goes across both pages here. You have a little mini at a glance for the previous and upcoming months. So if you need to get an idea of when dates are. My only complaint about this page is that it is Sunday to Saturday. Um, my week, personally, the way I schedule goes Monday to Sunday, so for me, this is a little off. but it was really my only gripe about the entire planner that I could find um, when I was looking online. So I may just live with it, or I may end up covering these and making, I don't know, either like stickers or something like that, and covering the dates and shifting it. I haven't fully decided yet. Um, but the reason this kind of bothers me too is these pages are Sunday to Monday, right? So then when we turn, we're going to go into our weekly spreads, and the first thing I notice is it's Monday to Sunday. So I don't really understand why she decided to make the months and the weekly spreads not line up. That's I don't know what the choice was about that, but Monday to Sunday is how I work. So the majority of what I do is going to be laid out in these weekly spreads. So for me, I'll figure out the monthly spread, whether I deal with it the way that it is or I decide to alter it myself. But I this is how I work. So these pages where I'm going to do the majority of the work are fine by me. Again, I love how clean this is. It's just so nice and it has the right amount of structure without being overly planned for me. Because I think part of the problem is with a lot of planners, it sort of presumes that it knows how you work. And I found that for me, that wasn't necessarily true. So if you look at, we'll just take this first page here, down the left-hand column here, you have sort of overarching goals for the week. It says action items this week, so maybe there's like a top three things that have to get accomplished or have to happen this week. Whether you're a student and those are big projects, or work goals or household things that need to happen, whatever that may be for your lifestyle. I just think that's a really nice feature. And then up at the top of each, you've got three spots that are kind of highlighted out for like your top three things that day. And for me, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to end up being like a top three to-do list or if I'm going to use that for like maybe the major um, agenda items in my day. I use my Google Calendar primarily for scheduling like appointments, doctor's appointments, things like that, that you have to schedule a little ways out. I'm probably going to forget about. Um, I love the idea of having a daily agenda, but for me, it just ends up being wasted space. My day work schedule is generally about the same. It's pretty close. Um, and then my classes for the semester are laid out. It just feels like such a waste to me to write them every week in this time block section. And you lose half your planner pages to these weekly events that happen all the time. So, what I like about this is that these are all just blank line spaces. So, I can use this as a to do list, or I could break this up into sections and decide, this is going to be action items for a particular class or for work or for whatever. If I decide to disbound this or somehow make another system, you can always insert additional to-do lists if you need more space. There's also all this nice grid space at the bottom for lists and brainstorms and anything you need to do. So I just really like how flexible this is. And from week to week and project to project, I may want to use this in different ways. And I really like that it's not specifically broken down into sections that may or may not end up working for me. It's just really kind of a nice blank slate. Um, so as you move through the month, each week is the same, so we won't spend a lot of time here. Pretty straightforward. And then you're going to get to the end of the month. And so at the end of each month, you have this project breakdown page. You'll see there's some grid lines up at the top here for brainstorming, um, to give your project a name, a date, a deadline if that's necessary. And then you've got all these boxes, six large ones and six small ones. So if you have a bigger project, like say, I don't know, a project you're working on for work, or maybe a big paper or something for school, you can break down particular tasks that need to happen, which for me is fantastic because when I'm working on a big project, I need to break it down into smaller chunks. I can't just take it as a huge thing. That's not how my brain works. So that's a really nice function for me. And then on this side, you've got just another full page of grid paper with date and a project name on it. So if you need more space for brainstorming or for a separate project, you've got lots of room to do that in. And so from here on out, it's actually just going to repeat everything that we've already seen. So it's going to go to another one of these reflections pages. You're going to have another one of these heavier cardstock art print pages here. work with your strengths and play with your weaknesses, which I think is, these are so much fun. I love these. I really love typography. Gray is my favorite color. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I just love how clean this is. And you can really choose whether you want to watercolor this or paint all over it or use a ton of different planner stickers and highlighters and colored pencils and whatever medium you like to work with. You could make this as bright and crazy as you want, or you can keep it much more subdued. I personally like to color code my planner. So if I have 4 or 5 classes and work projects and personal projects and things with my husband and so on and so forth, everything will have its own color. So the fact that this is such a nice blank slate is perfect for me because I can add in the color where I want it and it's really going to stand out versus some of the other planners that are more stylized. And then the things I'm adding in, I feel like are competing with the design of the planner itself. Um, so same as before, blank on this side, project page, and then when you turn the tab, you turn into your month, which is just really nice. So just really quickly, I'm just going to flip through. I won't show you all the layouts, but I will just show you the art pages because I think that they're really fun. So you have progress is greater than perfection. And then you have, this is the same thing as the card that came with it. Big things happen one day at a time. And without this being bound, it's a little hard to flip. Everyone starts at 0. Isn't that the truth? It's so easy, especially with social media, to compare yourself to other people. And got to remember they all started somewhere. Making breeds making. So just that, more of that kind of creative aspect of, the more that you make things, the more you get comfortable with making things and the more it becomes a practice. Find your step one. So very, very true. Respect the ebb and flow. And again, I think this applies whether you're in a creative field or just life in general. There are good times and bad times and lean times and fat times and so on and so forth. And you just have to learn to roll with it a little. You can't fight it all the time. Can't swim upstream. Um, One idea in action is worth 100 on deck. Yep, get off your rear end, Kelly, and get some work done. Don't wait for permission. How true is this? How often do we all wait for someone to give us permission to do the things we want to do when really we just need to go out there and get it done? Uh, I love this one. Perfection is not flawlessness. It is wholeness and completeness. All right, I can't even add to that. That's just so good. And then finally for December, create more than you consume. And that's really a goal of mine, to spend more time creating things that I love rather than just looking to buy things, and be part of that culture. So again, you go into December, you get the same monthly spread and then your weekly spreads all through. And then you get to your last, which is the same as before of this reflect page. And then a project page because there isn't another cardstock art page here. And so then at the back here, you get a couple more of these project planners with the breakdown on this side and the grid paper on the other. And there's a few of these. And what I really love with this too, especially if you get the unbound copy, is if you're a person like me who's going to use this a lot, I want more of these. I can copy these and, make more of them and have zillions of them if I want to put in my planner for the year for all the different art projects and school projects and client projects and work projects and blah, 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 blah. So once you get past the ones that are provided, you get a few more just sort of to-do list and planning pages. And again, these are all grid paper and they have a little 3 to-do checklist in the corner there. And then on the back side of them, it's just date, project, and grid paper planning space. And so you've got a pretty good number of these in the back here. And then you've got one final cover with that nobody cares about almost again. So very true. The little check mark logo on the back. And then you get your back cover, which does have a nice little folder pocket there. And it's pretty heavyweight, so that's nice. Again, I think I'm probably going to either make either a binder or some kind of cover to put this in, just because as much as I like this cardstock look, it's going to get wet. It's going to get stuff on it. I work at a restaurant. I carry this into cafes. I usually have a drink or something, and I eat on my desk. I live here. So I feel like this won't hold up long term for me if I don't cover it in something. In fact, even just like touching it, I'm getting finger marks on it. So I wouldn't recommend this as a cover if you care about it being marked at all. I would definitely get something else to cover it with, or maybe consider like washi taping it or laminating it or putting something over it. But overall, I'm so incredibly happy with this. I'm so excited to dig into it and start messing it up and writing all over it. So yeah, so that's the Get to Work book by Elise Joy for 2016. If there's anything that I went through too quickly or you guys didn't see or you have questions about, please leave comments down below, and I will be happy to address those as best I can or to find out answers for you if I can. And if you guys like this, I would love, as I start to work in it and fill it out, to maybe make a second video showing you how I'm actually using it and how it's working for me. So if there's anything in particular you guys have questions about, if you're like me and you find that most of the videos that other planner walkthroughs that are out there don't really seem to suit how you work, leave me a comment. Tell me what it is that you do. How do you plan? What are you looking for? And maybe we can all brainstorm together to come up with some options that would work for you. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. And if you do, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know how YouTube works. And I will talk to you guys soon. So bye.